Hi everyone, this is a tutorial to show you how to work one colour brioche. Now this is the brioche pattern that you can see here. I'm going to show you how to work that. I've started by working my I-cord edge, which is just 3 knit stitches, and then you work a setup row for your brioche. And the setup row is a slip 1 yarn over, then knit 1, slip 1 yarn over, then knit 1. Now the slip 1 yarn over is worked as follows. You bring your yarn to the front, you slip the stitch purlwise, and your yarn moves across that stitch almost diagonally back round to the back of your work. That's the slip 1 yarn over, and then you knit 1. You just repeat that pattern until you have gone as far as you need to go. So slip 1 yarn over, you bring your yarn round to the front, you slip that stitch purlwise, and your yarn comes to the back, ready to knit the next stitch. So it's that pattern. I'll show you holding the yarn in the other hand as well. So you bring your yarn round to the front for the slip 1 yarn over, yarn comes round to the back, ready to knit the next stitch. So it's slip 1 yarn over, knit 1, and you keep repeating that pattern as instructed in whatever directions you are following. That is the setup round. That's the one round that's different from all the rest. So I'll work the rest of this round and then I'll show you what comes next. Okay, I've worked that first setup row. I'm now ready to move on to the proper brioche pattern. And the nice thing about the single colour brioche is that the pattern is the same whether you're working the wrong side or the right side. Essentially, the pattern is either you're getting rid of a yarn over or you're creating a yarn over, and that's all you do. So if you come to a stitch, as is the case here, I've got my slipped stitch with a yarn over. So I've already got a yarn over here. I'm going to get rid of that yarn over simply by doing what's called a brioche knit, which looks a lot like a knit 2 together. You brioche knit those 2 stitches together. You've got rid of that yarn over. You now have just one stitch there where you had the yarn over before, because you've knit the slip stitch and the yarn over together. This stitch doesn't have a yarn over, so I'm creating one. So I'm doing a slip 1 yarn over to give that stitch a yarn over. This one's got one, I'm getting rid of it. Brioche knit, which is almost the same as knit 2 together. Then my next stitch doesn't have a yarn over, so I need to create one. I slip 1 yarn over. The next stitch has a yarn over, so I'm brioche knitting. So it's that pattern of slip 1 yarn over, I'll show you in the other hand, slip 1 yarn over, brioche knit. It's a pretty simple, just 2-step pattern that you're repeating, and that is one colour brioche. It's one of those things that's actually pretty simple when you know what to do. One thing I will mention is sometimes if your stitches get really bunched up on your needles, it can be quite difficult to tell whether you're working, your next stitch has a yarn over or not. So if that happens, I always recommend just spreading them out, and then it becomes really obvious which ones have the yarn over and which ones don't. And you can track back and think, okay, so that stitch has the yarn over, this one doesn't. If it doesn't have a yarn over yet, you're creating one. If it has a yarn over, you're getting rid of it. And that pattern is just called slip 1 yarn over, brioche knit, slip 1 yarn over, brioche knit. Okay, so I finished that wrong side row. I'm going to work the right side row, or at least the start of it, just to show you that that pattern does continue in the same way. So I'm just knitting my first 3 stitches. That's an I-cord edge, which is not part of the brioche pattern. And then you can see I've got this same sequence of a stitch on its own, a stitch with the yarn over, a stitch on its own, a stitch with the yarn over. If the stitch is on its own, you're creating a yarn over by doing a slip 1 yarn over. If it already has a yarn over with it, you're getting rid of that one by doing a brioche knit. The pattern continues the same way, right side and wrong side rows. Once you've got the hang of it, it's pretty straightforward. One final thing that I will say, show you in fact, is when you work the first couple of rows of brioche, it looks like you've done something terribly wrong. You can see mine here. This is the right side. It will actually end up looking like this, but here I'm onto my third row of brioche, and this is what it looks like. So it'd be very easy to look at this and think, oh my goodness, I've done something wrong. You haven't. It just takes a few rows to sort itself out for some reason. So if you are following what I've just shown you in the video, within a few rows, you'll actually start to see this pattern appearing. So if you're looking at this right now, don't panic.